The walkout the Galactic Forum had stood for over 6,000 years. Built by the oldest species in the stars, it was a place where peace was made, trade was agreed, and wars were avoided. Delegates from 1,000 worlds filled the circular chamber, speaking in whispers, watching holograms, or debating through translators. But today, all eyes were fixed on the humans. They stood tall, silent, and still. The Earth delegation had arrived late, on purpose, everyone thought. The alien species present found humans strange. Too quiet, too fast, too unpredictable. They came from a death world, a place where everything wanted to kill them. And somehow, they survived, adapted, and now they were powerful. Ambassador Raylan, a respected speaker of the Vorithi, stepped forward. Humans, he said slowly, his long arms folded across his robe, your complaint has been reviewed. The matter of your border security has been judged irrelevant to the wider goals of the Forum. No one blinked. The silence deepened, then, a single human stood. His name was Commander Dale. He was not dressed like a diplomat. No robe. No sash. Just dark clothes and a calm face. He walked forward until he stood in the center of the room. I see, he said, voice flat. Raylan looked confused. You see? Dale nodded. We brought evidence of attacks. Of our colonies being destroyed. You ignored it. We asked for help. You said no. And now, you say our lives are irrelevant. The Forum serves all, Raylan said firmly. We cannot, Dale raised a hand. The room froze. I was hoping for unity, Dale said. But we have our answer. Earth no longer considers itself bound to the decisions of this Forum. The chamber erupted in gusts, whispers, and panic. Dozens of species blinked in shock. The Karash clicked their jaws in disbelief. The Ikari recoiled in horror. A few even began shouting in their native tongues, demanding translators check the meaning again. You can't walk out, someone yelled. We just did, Dale replied. The humans turned and walked out of the chamber. Quiet. Calm. No weapons. No threats. But the silence they left behind was louder than any war. CRY.I in the control rooms above the Forum, watchers looked at each other nervously. Reports began coming in. Human fleets had vanished from the known sectors. Earth's ambassadors were leaving every station. Consulates were shutting down. Human systems were going dark, they are disconnecting, a technician whispered. From everything. Back in the chamber, Raylan stood in stunned silence. They wouldn't dare, he murmured, but deep down, he wasn't so sure. Humans didn't bluff. The ripple across the stars news spread fast, faster than light, in some systems. Across the galaxy, the headlines read the same in every language: humans exit Galactic Forum. For many, it was just politics. For others, it was the first cold breath of fear. On the planet Grelin, an alliance meeting was called at once. 12 alien leaders gathered in secret. The humans withdrew, said one with scaled arms and glowing eyes. But why? They were ignored, replied another. They warned of attacks. We didn't listen. Because we thought they could handle it, a third snapped. They are humans. They always survive. But this time, they are not asking. They are disappearing. From trade lanes to security patrols, human presence was vanishing. Warships pulled back to Sol space. Mining operations were shutting down. Terran stations locked their doors. Messages to Earth received no reply, and yet, the silence was not peaceful. In Sector 49V, a Varnado patrol ship found one of Earth's border colonies completely abandoned. No life. No tech. Just a silent field of glass where buildings once stood. The ground itself had been burned smooth. They deleted themselves, the captain muttered. Why? No one knew. Meanwhile, inside a massive war council room orbiting the planet Cora, the Kren High Admiral paced nervously. Have we heard from the humans? She asked her officers. No, said one. Not since the Forum incident. What? About their fleets? They are repositioning. We've lost tracking. But sensors caught something strange on the edge of Sector 0. An entire moon gone. Gone. Disintegrated. No debris. No one spoke for a moment. Back at the Galactic Forum, the remaining members held an emergency session. They are isolating themselves, said Raylan. We must reach out. One ambassador, old and tired, shook his head. It's too late. They warned us. And we laughed. Now they are gone. That's not a retreat. That's a preparation. Preparation for what? Silence. I in the corner of the forum's vast map room, a junior analyst looked at the movement of ships. His hands trembled as he realized something terrifying. The human fleets were not retreating randomly, they were forming a pattern. A formation. A net around the entire known galaxy, and the center of that net was empty. What are they doing? The analyst whispered. A quiet voice beside him answered, they are pulling back to strike. Asterisk whispers of a storm. The galaxy was uneasy. Trade routes once protected by human patrols now stood exposed. Pirate activity doubled. Border skirmishes reignited. The balance was breaking and everyone felt it. In the outer colonies of the Yalari Confederation, a merchant convoy was attacked by raiders. For years, they had counted on nearby Terran patrols for backup. But now, there were none. A desperate call went out to Earth Command requesting immediate assistance. Civilian lives at risk. The reply was silence. Across the stars, similar messages were sent. Cries for help. Pleas for protection. All met with the same cold result, nothing. On the planet Vesta Prime, a science station detected something strange near the galactic rim. An energy reading, massive, complex, and artificial. Their computers could not identify it. It was far beyond anything the forum had ever documented. Is it a new station? The lead researcher asked. No, said his assistant. It's moving. When the data cleared, they saw the impossible, a structure the size of a moon, hidden inside a nebula. It wasn't a weapon. It wasn't a base. It was a ship. A human ship. The forum called an emergency summit. Raylan stood before the panicked crowd. This is not war yet, he declared. We must believe the humans will listen to reason. But few believed that. In a dark corner of the hall, a diplomat from the Corvian Empire spoke quietly to her aide. They are not threatening war. They are reminding us they don't need us. The aide nodded. And if they don't need us, we are in danger. Meanwhile, inside Earth's deep command bunker, Commander Dale stood before a massive screen, showing every known system. Behind him were dozens of officers, all quiet, focused. A woman in a plain uniform stepped beside him. The forum still doesn't understand, she said. They will, Dale replied. She looked at the screen again. Phase 2 is ready. Do we begin? He didn't answer right away. Then he simply nodded. Send the message. One line only. She typed. Across every major station, every news network, and every border signal, the same message appeared in red text, without sound. We asked. You ignored. Now we decide. Panic erupted instantly. The forum scrambled for answers, but Earth had already turned its back. Earth silence. The galaxies fear. The message echoed through every system. We asked. You ignored. Now we decide. No threats. No demands. Just a sentence. But that sentence shook empires. On the planet Valerix, leaders of 3 powerful species gathered. The discussion was frantic. They are preparing for war, one said, his voice sharp. No. It's worse than that, said another, his scales twitching. They are preparing to change the rules. Rules? Asked the youngest of them. Yes, the oldest replied. The humans followed the forum's codes for years. But we refused to listen when they were attacked. Now, they no longer care what we say. But if they are no longer bound by our agreements, they can do anything. Meanwhile, on the outskirts of the galaxy, the giant human ship within the nebula began moving. It had no name on record. No identification. It was unlike any Terran vessel the forum had seen before. Large. Black. Silent. It slipped through space like a shadow. On the desert world of Kren, the local people woke to find a strange object in the sky, a satellite, human-made, projecting a message in over 100 languages. Observe. Learn. We are not your enemy. But we will not be ignored. No soldiers followed. No weapons fired. But the sky remained watched. In the Galactic Forum, chaos spread. Species once united began to argue, blame, and divide. Accusations flew. You pushed them away. No. You dismissed their warnings. They are overreacting. They are teaching a lesson. Amid the shouting, Raylan sat alone, silent. He remembered the look in Commander Dale's eyes before the walkout. Cold. Not angry, determined. He realized then that Earth had never truly wanted war. They wanted respect, and when that was denied, they left. Some thought that meant peace. They were wrong. At a hidden Terran base inside a dead star system, human scientists activated a strange device. It pulsed once. The stars around it dimmed briefly. All across the galaxy, data systems were hit by a strange virus. It didn't destroy. It didn't steal. It highlighted every crime committed against Earth in the last 10 years, every broken treaty, every ignored distress call, every insult, and it listed the names of the species involved. The data was impossible to delete. It spread like wildfire. The galaxy saw the truth. Humanity had kept receipts, and now the debt was due. Receipts and realizations in the days that followed the data release. Every major system across the galaxy lit up with shame, outrage, and panic. The Planetary Council of Thalos held an emergency broadcast. Their faces pale, their voices tight. "We were not aware of the full consequences of our inaction," said the head speaker. "We deeply regret the failure to protect human colonies near our borders." On Varnes, protests filled the streets. Alien citizens held signs that read, "Forgive Earth." On the diplomatic station orbiting Tarka, a military general threw his communicator across the room. "We thought they were just angry. We didn't know they were recording everything." Even the strongest empires now understood humanity had not left the Galactic Forum in defeat. They had left with purpose. Back on Earth, in a mountain-hidden facility under the Andes, Commander Dale stood in front of a council of human leaders. They were not dressed in military uniforms, but their presence carried weight. "The galaxy is reacting," one woman said. "Just as we predicted." "The unity is breaking," added another. Dale nodded. It was never about war. It was about showing them what happens when Earth is treated like an outsider. "What's next?" a voice asked from the shadows. Dale answered without hesitation, "Step 3. Across the galaxy, strange incidents began to unfold. A Qualian battleship, known for bullying weaker traders, was found floating dead in space. No sign of damage. No signs of violence. But every weapon and engine had been neatly disabled. Its captain found a note inside the command console: "You're not invisible. Respect is earned." In a remote mining colony where humans were once denied emergency aid, a massive crate arrived overnight. Inside were hundreds of food packs, water purifiers, and medicine, all marked with the Earth symbol. No name. No message. Just kindness. And a silent warning. Then, something even stranger happened. A broadcast began circulating through every channel, without origin, impossible to trace. A voice, not threatening, but calm. "We are not your rulers. We do not seek revenge. We seek recognition. When you see us now, remember the silence you gave us. We learned from you. Now you will learn from us." At that moment, Earth's fleets reappeared, but they didn't invade. They hovered in orbit above former allies and former enemies alike. Silent, peaceful. Watching, the ships were larger than before. Sleeker. Silent. With designs no alien database could match. They weren't showing force, they were showing growth, and the galaxy finally understood. Humanity hadn't vanished to hide, they had evolved. When the Watchers became the judges, the galaxy was no longer sure what it feared more: humans disappearing, or humans returning. One by one, systems received quiet visits. A single human ship would arrive, not to attack, not to speak, but simply to observe. These vessels didn't respond to messages. They didn't land. They didn't fire, but they watched. On the once hostile world of Brelic, a former pirate port, residents woke up to see a massive Terran cruiser hovering silently above their skies. Not one weapon pointed down, but every pirate ship in orbit self-destructed within minutes. No Terran order had been given. The pirates panicked on their own. On Marn, a species known for exploiting human labor on asteroid mines found their operations hacked. All gates opened. All systems locked them out. And every human worker was already gone, relocated safely. Far from Marn's reach, Earth had moved its people quietly. Safely. Without violence, but the message was clear: we do not forget. In the Galactic Forum, chaos turned into shame. Raylan sat in silence, reviewing news after news. We laughed at them, he muttered. We laughed when they asked for help. Now they've become what we feared, but not through war. Through will. One of his aides, a younger diplomat, spoke quietly. Sir, there's talk of dissolving the forum. Raylan didn't respond. He looked up at the main chamber's tall windows. They used to shine with light, pride, and diplomacy. Now, they looked like empty glass. He finally whispered, maybe. It should be. Elsewhere, on Earth's flagship, called Endurance, Commander Dale received updates from across sectors. No pushback, he asked. None, said his officer. They are folding. Every major power has either gone silent or issued a formal apology. Dale didn't smile. They don't apologize because they care. They do it because they're afraid. Is that enough? The officer asked. Dale looked at the stars outside the window. No. But it's a start. Far from Earth, in a secret alien council chamber, a private meeting took place between 7 species. They were not weak. They were not friends. But they had one thing in common: they feared what Earth might do next. We should strike now, one said. No. We won't survive that. Then what do we do? Another voice, older and slower, spoke at last. We change. We listen. Because the galaxy is no longer ours to shape. That night, something happened no one expected. The Galactic Forum sent a single message to Earth. A request. A plea. Return. We will listen. Asterisk. The return that changed everything. The message echoed across space, carried by priority signals through every relay. Earth. We ask you to return. This time, we will listen. Inside Earth's orbital command center, the message was displayed. On every screen. Diplomats, commanders, scientists, everyone stared in silence. No one cheered. No one smiled. Commander Dale read it 3 times before speaking. They are not offering peace, he said calmly. They are offering a seat they once pulled from under us. A quiet pause followed. What do we do? Someone asked. Dale looked toward the Earth far below. Oceans, mountains, cities filled with people who had endured humiliation, betrayal, and silence. And yet, those same people had stood tall. Without bloodshed. Without threats. We don't go back as we were, Dale said. We return on our terms. Stronger. Wiser. United. Across the galaxy, preparations were made. For the first time, it was not humans watching, it was the galaxy waiting. A week later, a single human vessel approached the Galactic Forum. Not a warship, but a new design, sleek, elegant, wrapped in light reactive panels that shimmered in orbit like starlight. As it docked, thousands gathered in the forum's central hall. Cameras hovered silently. No one dared speak. The doors opened. 3 humans stepped inside. Not dressed in robes, not armored. Just clean uniforms and calm faces. Commander Dale walked to the center. He looked around the chamber, then at Raylan, who now stood without the usual arrogance. We accept your request, Dale said. But Earth will not beg for a seat. We stand as equals. And this time, we speak first. Raylan bowed his head. Slowly. Carefully. We agree. The chamber remained silent. Dale continued. We remember every cry we made that was ignored. And yet, we are here not for revenge, but for change. For order. For truth. Earth will not be silent again. The lights above dimmed slightly, a symbol of agreement among the forum systems. One by one, the alien ambassadors stood. And for the first time in history, they all bowed, not to a ruler, not to a conqueror, but to a people who had walked away from power and returned stronger than ever. Outside, ships gathered from every system. Human vessels floated side by side with alien ones. Not as watchers. Not as judges, but as equals. The galaxy had changed. An Earth, once doubted, once dismissed, had become the standard not through war, but through will. Asterisk.